Hi, everybody, and welcome to my presentation, which I name Power to the Meetings, or How to Organize Events that Future Generations Will Be Proud of. Today, I will share my personal story about the year when event industry froze. This is a little bit about me. I try to stay positive in these hard times, and as I see glass always half full. I realized that we were all for a long time in a comfort zone, but we overlooked burnout symptoms. That's why for many, it was not easy to move through different zones like fear zone, learning zone, and growth zone at the end of this process. My support was from the beginning the methodology Power to the Meetings we are using for 11 years now, and we tested it in also in hybrid and digital environment. But in between, we said, okay, the only way to survive this situation is to focus on our clients and their needs. That's why we actually created several surveys where we asked several questions to the meeting planners all over Europe. And in total, we collected 7,500 answers. And the question was how to organize smart, green, and responsible events. On which and what will be the main points for the events for the future. So basically, first of all, we said, okay, we need to focus on the participant. That's number one. And we collected, as I said before, all these answers to a manifesto, which I will present shortly in the following minutes. And then I will give you also some practical examples of what we are doing in our agency to stay actually competitive on the market. So first of all is to focus on the participant, and this is, in my personal opinion, the most important part of the story, because only if we listen to the needs of the participants, then we can really meet their expectations. This sounds super simple and super easy, but in reality, it's not always like that. Sometimes we do events also just because we need to do events, we need to deliver something to the deadline, or sometimes even just thinking about the brand itself and not about the participants joining our events. So this is the focus and the core of everything what I'm doing around Ljubljana Manifesto and Power to the Meetings methodology. In between, I will share just a few slides for you, in which we actually use just to confirm what I'm saying. And these slides are more or less before Corona crisis and after Corona crisis, just to give you some ideas what is going on and what we learned from this research we did for the whole last year. So definitely we can see a decrease in number of live events. I'm not a Sherlock Holmes, but this is the fact. So basically the number of live events has drastically decreased by nearly half from the beginning of the crisis. And obviously, and this is still a paradox on the market, some of the colleagues do not believe in hybrid or digital or multi-hub events, but in reality, more or less, we see that live will be around 40% and the rest will be digital or hybrid, or it doesn't matter. It depends on what clients really needs. Then we have, of course, the second point of our manifesto, which is that there is no compromise when it comes to content. I believe that we meeting planners, we are storytellers, and I'm preaching this for a long time. And really, if you think about your most successful events, there was always a great story behind. And only if the story is really, really great, then people will absolutely come to your event. But imagine or think how many stories were without a proper content. And this is the second really, really important point. So excellent content is the foundation of the essence of everything what we are doing as event organizers. The statistics here says that there will be fewer events in the future. So we believe that almost 25% will attend between 1 and 5 events before the crisis and 62 after the crisis. So that means it goes in line with the content. Only if we can create good content, people will definitely come to our events. Otherwise, they will simply ignore our crazy ideas and so on. So this statistics confirms how important it is actually to have a good content. Then, of course, the third point is agile response to change. I will simplify this to a message that we need to respond to anything what is going on. So new normal as a term, we don't use anymore this because this is the new normal we live in. But we need to have a technology. We need to have tools and techniques that we can adapt to the new reality and do deliver events to our clients, even if there is a super corona around us or even Godzilla, I used to say. So this agility is something I will come back later, a little bit later. I will give you some ideas and some tools how to do it and how to stay agile. And of course, here is another statistical data. The ideal duration of a professional conference is, of course, shorter. So we can talk about shorter duration of events. Around 22% of colleagues attended half-day events before the crisis. Now this percentage is already 40%. So we need to be careful about the rhythm, as we call it in the power of to the meetings methodology, and the rhythm is really important. As somebody who loves music and play, it's really important that you know how to actually play, how to create the good rhythm around your events. And this is really super important, even more important for digital events. Then, of course, the fourth point of this manifesto we created in the summer months is excellence and measurable quality. We all know what I'm saying now. Everybody knows this, but to put this in order and to create a kind of robust system to actually measure everything around events, this is something which is not so easy as it looks like. And what I believe personally is that we can talk about Pareto's rule when we are talking about meetings and events industry. So Pareto rule means that we have 80% of communication and 20% of logistics now with our events. So if you focus on that, then we can really measure everything, all the communication, and this is what our clients are looking for. And excellence with the ROI is something where our industry can prove that we are really agile and that we can deliver more than just a simple event. So this is, for me, a really important part of the story. And again, the new statistics here says that we will have, of course, more regional events. For example, the total number of regional, national, and local events is increasing. Before the crisis, the share was 59 or almost 60%. And after the crisis, it is around 68%. So definitely we can see this in my region, in Central Europe. There are quite a lot of new events coming up based on this regional concept. And I believe that regionalization will stay with us for quite a long time, for quite some time. This is one of my favorite topics, responsibility to the environment or sustainability. This is also the topic where we have a lot of greenwashing around our industry. Well, I believe that we need a new front of younger generation fighting for this. Basically, I'm really in this topic because for one of our projects, we are now creating a completely new process-driven system to measure the sustainability. And what we learned through that process is that we can only do small steps and we cannot declare something as a green. When somebody is declaring event or whatever for a green event, then of course this is immediately close to greenwashing. Why? Because when we organize international conference, I will give you this example, then of course we all come in by planes and so on. And the carbon footprint, according to our research for the Conventa case, which is one of our projects, is 189 kilos of carbon footprint per day per participant. And the event is 2.5 days long. So you can imagine what does it bring, what is the carbon footprint of such a big event where we have 500 plus participants. So before organizing an event, we always consider whether the positive impact of the event will actually outweigh the bad ones. And this is, in my opinion, really important. This is the topic I can talk for hours, but I will stop now and I will come back later with a little bit of provocation at the end of my presentation. So when we ask colleagues how far do they agree that the Corona crisis has highlighted the need to organize events with greater responsibility towards the environment, the mark between 1 and 5, that means strongly disagree or completely agree, was 3.85. That means that it's somewhere in between. When we asked the same question again a few days ago, it's even lower, So because when you are in a survival mode, then of course, or fear zone, let's say so. Maybe we are again in fear zone. So basically, that's why the mark was not so high. But basically, my personal belief, and by profession, I am geographer, and this is close to me, to my heart. We need to do something. We need to do better. We need to be a better industry. And I just learned from one of my colleagues who said that we are like turkeys preparing for Christmas. That was his actually explanation about everything what is going on around sustainable concepts and so on. So the 6th point is the core of what we are doing this week and what the colleagues from BR are doing, and we are talking a lot. You were talking a lot about experiences, but of course, how to create exceptional experiences. This is something what is really which should be focus of all of us, But basically, we should start with the content, and then we come to this exceptional 365 degrees experiences, because I believe, and we can see this, and that these digital outlets we are building up around our events, this is something what we can also call new platforms, and this is the way how we can create experiences all the way and from all year around one big event or or a series of smaller events. So this is what I personally really believe. I will give you a simple example of sport events, like, I don't know, World Rally Cup. If you think about Rally Cup as a hybrid event, then you will understand what I'm saying. Actually, the main event is still live, but all other things around the World Rally Championship are built on a digital platforms, and this is where we have a challenge. And we have some great examples from the industry, like GrowX and so on. There are some quite great projects. We can learn about how to create experiences all over and in a longer actually time frame. So a little bit more of statistics. This is quite interesting too, especially for people from event industry. Well, the demand for special venues is quite stable, but I can tell you that the last year it was a year of special venues. All the clients, in my case, demanded so-called special venues. Of course, this is something which needs also a definition. What is a special venue? But the decreases with the congress hotels, convention centers, so-called boring places, if you want to. And of course, there is the increase of outdoor venues in our industry. This is, of course, a statistics. Basically, it depends from project to project, but you can see some samples what is going on behind the scenes. And this is also a good actually learning process for venues. They would need to change the whole actually business model, if you ask me. And it's quite interesting to follow what different venues are doing in line with what I'm saying. And of course, coming back to 80-20 Pareto's rule, I mentioned this before. We need to develop 360 degrees communication approach. 80%, as I said before, in my opinion, goes for communication, 20 for logistics. So it's a different story as it was before. And we need to be there where our clients are. For example, this week, I'm playing a lot with my team, with my younger colleagues in a team. I'm playing a lot with TikTok. If you ask me 1 year ago about TikTok and meetings industry, I would say at that time that this is nonsense. But at this moment, we are using for a certain target group and for a specific event heavily TikTok, and I definitely believe it has future, maybe even better future than, for example, Facebook, which is, as my younger colleagues said, for old guys like I am. So basically, we need to be there, and we need to digitalize the whole communication experience. And this is where we have so many opportunities. And again and again and coming back to content and to the needs of the participants. This is the formula which we promote in the power to the meetings concept. So another statistics is about where they do people search for information about events, and you can see obviously that marketing digitalization is here, and this is obvious. And even if we are talking about events, we need to digitalize almost everything around our events. And eight, we are coming slowly to the last part of it. Eight is dialogue. Through events, we promote dialogue between participants, and here we come to a biggest issue we have all of us now: how to bridge the gap between the digital and live public. When we are talking and playing with hybrid, it simply we really need to move from streaming to a real engagement, and it's possible, but there are many obstacles at this moment because we are not using everything what we can use. And I do hope that in the tomorrow and we will see some great examples of how to bridge the gap between these two audiences. But anyhow, dialogue is, in my opinion, important also because we must create a dialogue in a society, and that's the role of events itself. Without a dialogue, there is no democracy. In my personal opinion, there is no development of science, of culture, of economy, and this is where our industry have its role. And really, dialogue goes also with democratic societies and so on. But this is another topic we can cover sometimes later. And here we have again one sample I would like to share with you. There is no actually rule anymore that corpus will organize events only spring and autumn. We are all moving to warmer months because of Corona, and this is quite fluid now. There is no sample anymore, and we need to follow this again logic of the needs of the clients and our participants. And what I personally believe, and this is the point I really like, is about simplicity. Working in this industry and in wider sense in marketing industry for almost 28 years now, I was always obsessed with simplicity, how to actually put quite complicated topics into something which everybody will understand, and how to transform really complicated and complex ideas to something which people will definitely remember. And this is all about when we organize congresses, events, car launches, or whatever. We need to simplify everything, and this is where our creativity comes in place. But if I can comment also this, creativity at events is never an end in itself. This is my personal opinion. So events just because of creativity, it's not enough. We need to actually, again, I'm coming back again and again to the participants. We need to be really actually also good in that. So how do you feel about the following types of participant interaction? Here are some examples from summertime. And as you can see, we are not using everything what is available actually on the market. We're just using one-to-one appointments, breakout rooms, polls, social media, quizzes, and so on, but not many things which are available to bridge the gap and create a dialogue. The 10 is, of course, a culture of transparency. This morning, we sent a quite huge pitch to one Japanese company, and of course, they expect from us a super trooper transparency. Otherwise, we cannot really do this in a proper way. This is the only way to build trust between clients and agencies. And still, in some parts of Europe, you can really hardly find something like that. Well, if you come from Western Europe, this is probably not such a big deal, but in the Balkans, where we are based, or in the Southeast Europe, as we call it, this is quite an important issue. And I believe that this industry can only really move on if it is transparent. And this is where we should start, all of us. And it goes in many directions. So to wrap up a little bit, once you begin organizing in-person events, that was the question: how will your event format change? Just three things I will mention: hybrid format, smaller in size, shorter in time, and of course more local and regional. This is a wrap up of what we learned from our research. Let me focus also on 4 different things we need to cover when we are thinking about the new planet of events, let's say so. First of all, digital competencies. This is clear. There is no doubt that we need digital competencies. And digitalization is the key, actually. And I'm not saying this as a politician now, but I really believe in that. I can confirm that in my company, the structure of the employees is completely different as it was before the crisis. We have now more, we have really more multimedia guys here around us. And this is the core of the team now at this particular moment. And on the other side, we have quite a lot of content writers because we need to combine these two fields of the same story. And data are in the heart of modern events. So if you do not collect data, then something is wrong with your event, because this is what clients are looking for. This is what actually you need to really be careful about. According to GDPR and everything, but with the use of data, we can analyze performance, so we can see how good we are. This is analytics. We can discover new opportunities. This is data mining. And of course, we can dynamically adapt events, which is personalization. So these 3 things, in my opinion, this is really crucial for events in the future. Then, of course, we need to move out of the comfort zone. I told you before that it felt like a comfort zone before the crisis, with quite a lot of burnout syndromes, and I believe that in that sense that the crisis, like it is now, brings quite a lot of opportunities, and I can already smell the better industry outside, and just with those who went out. Or who are moving out from the comfort zone. And of course, almost the last topic is also interdependence. When organizing events, we are we depend on each other, and this reciprocity was not always the case before the crisis. Now we figure out on our small market. I can give you examples that we cooperate with some of the biggest competitors before the crisis. So we are now pitching together because we have some special knowledge. I will give you a totally simple and stupid example. If I'm specialized on Zoom as an agency, and I'm doing a lot of events on Zoom, maybe I'm not so good on Teams, or I don't know, Cisco WebEx or whatever. So I need a specific actually profile of people to help me with the events. Sorry. And of course, with that, we can create a kind of reciprocity. We help each other, and this is absolutely interesting too. And of course, these are the skills we would definitely need to possess after the COVID. Number 1 is flexibility. And then, of course, these classical things like organizational and event planning skills. But later on are coming just digital user interface, online marketing, HTML skills, and so on. This is what we are looking for from meeting planners in the future. So this is quite different from what we actually knew before the crisis. So how we did it? What are we doing actually? How our agency responded to the crisis? As I said at the beginning, our framework was developed 11 years ago, and it's called Power to the Meetings. And this is a simple graph where you can see what it's all about. It's about focus on the participants. It's about participant satisfaction, excellence, and extraordinary experiences. And then around this, we build up actually everything what we believe is important when you organize events. And what is really cool is that after the crisis, we realized that this whole system is even better than it was before. So it's really stable. It really brings results, and we're quite proud. And we can use the same tools adapted to digital or to hybrid, and it works perfectly well. So this is just one tool I would like to share with you. This is so-called communication funnel we are using. And of course, this communication funnel works well if you combine it with experience funnel. Why is this important? This is actually a tool we are using in a very simple way. We are using post-it papers, and we put crazy ideas about communications in different fields. When we are all when we all agree actually on something, it's usually on the panel. But then we have three colors. We have simply green color, we have orange color, and red color, and it means that if something is red, actually we didn't realize that part of the project. And simply by looking on the poster, I can check how far we are with the preparation of the project. And when we are, in my opinion, up to 80% green, then it means that we are on a good way to actually deliver good results. But why communication funnel is important to me? Because we create certain expectations with the participants, and then they enter to our story, and then we play with these really important things, which are first experience, triggers, our surprise elements to activate participants, positive atmosphere, or creating inspirational venues like living rooms. And then at the end, we come to this phase, which is really after the event, when there is a new knowledge, new ideas, and of course, personal growth. But if this is not actually balanced well, then of course we have a problem. Sometimes we create big expectations with communication and we cannot deliver experience. Sometimes it's vice versa. So this is practical tool from our methodology we are using on a daily basis, and we have a lot of such things in this whole system. I'm just trying to tell you a little bit more about it, that you can see how it works in practice. Well, another angle which I would like to cover is that, well, are you ready to wait for your favorite TV show for more than 1 week, actually, as it was before with the television, with the classical television? Now, of course, you can watch Narcos Mexico in 2 nights if you are totally crazy. So basically, video on demand is something similar to events on demand. So this is where I see a lot of opportunities for the future. So basically, we can definitely learn a lot from Netflix and from some other providers on the market. And of course, from the Power to the Meetings Kitchen, I will share some concerns, some ideas, and some things we are working on now. And you will get an idea what is really our obsession at this particular moment. And I will do a little bit of PR and promotion for ourselves. So basically, we earned ICA Best Marketing Awards together with one of our clients, award for Best in Innovation and Creativity. We are proud on that because that was a kind of experiment we did for one of our events. And this experiment is now already an important and stable project we are working on. So what are we doing in our small kitchen? Well, we are playing a lot with the content, as I said at the beginning. So I really believe there is no compromise when it comes to content. This is my absolutely deep obsession. Then, of course, the question in line with that is who owns the content? So the question is how to actually create the environment where I can use this content also for different channels I'm using. So the question who owns the content is super important. And before the crisis, we didn't really put so many efforts to that. Then, of course, anywhere, anytime, I told you that this is a communication. We are trying to develop a communication which goes really anywhere at any time. And in line with that, it's this 360-degree approach of experiences in different platforms or in different environments, in digital, sometimes even virtual and live environment. This is the main playground of our agency. And what is also important with that is that we need to also have a great digital activation. We need to activate participants on different channels. So this is the first, actually, let's say so, part of the story where we are really putting a lot of efforts in the last months. Then, of course, it's something what is important to build own media. And this is what we are doing with several clients. So I'm not talking about magazines and so on, but wider. Sometimes it's about social media, sometimes it's about television and so on. Then, of course, we need to develop platforms all year around. Then, of course, we are playing a lot with influencers, with heroes, because in every single field and every single professional field, we have influencers. What is also coming in place are event rights. This is more complex than it was before, so we need to take care about that. And my personal actually advice to all of you is that you need to have also a lawyer as part of your team, and then you can cover all these topics from content and event rights, and of course licensing of everything what is around your event, especially if you're working with top brands, and they're really experts in legal issues about licensing. This is the second part, more legal part of our business, which is quite important too, in my personal opinion. And then, of course, we have these nice things actually for grand finale, which is, of course, always a dilemma between live stream. What is live stream? Do we need live stream? And is it live stream enough to say that something is hybrid? Of course, it's not. That's my personal opinion. But we are working hard on actually lowering the cost of live stream. So there are so many technology tools you can use, and this is really something which will become a necessity. Then, of course, monetization, which is a brand new field we are playing now, and we forgot everything from the past, and we are now working on these new monetization models. Then, of course, merchandising, which was in certain fields a kind of something unbelievable. For example, imagine if you have a scientific conference or something like that, and you merchandise something. If the brand of the society is so strong, why not? And we tested this, and it works perfectly well. And then, of course, my ultimate obsession is with fans, how to create fans around your events. And still we are playing with happenings and hospitality, how to create something for the VIPs and so on. So this is shortly what we are doing on a daily basis. That's how my daily life looks like in these Corona times. And of course, we can learn a lot from Netflix, Spotify, and Amazon. This is where the magic is happening actually at this particular moment. And why I'm saying this, imagine something. Before the crisis, the Cannes Lions, one of my favorite events, was so expensive that registration fee was sometimes even 2,000-3,000 euros, not to mention if you wanted to enter the price. Apply with your work for a price. But can you imagine now that you can just pay 250 euros subscription fee for entering the content platform of Cannes Lions? And this is the new reality, and I can confirm that they earn more money with this new monetization model or with this subscription economy than ever before. So this is where we have a lot of place for development, in my opinion. And of course, to finish slowly, these are top 10 events that turns things upside down, and this is my personal list. This is not a BIA award. This is not a promotion of events, but some of the events are, of course, from the region, and some are global. And you can check this here from C2 Montreal, Cisco Live, AMEC 2019, 15 seconds. This is interesting festival in Graz, in Steiermark, close to our country. Then last year, winner Maserati, that was a great hybrid event. Mirror House About the River, one of my favorites from the Baltic states. Legendary Night in a Museum from Saga, and Web Summit as a great example. And here in my region, Weekend Media Festival and Podium Conference, two great examples of how can you really deliver event which is focused on participants. So let me finish with two provocations. And this is my takeaway to all of you to think about it a little bit. What is your comment on the following findings? The single biggest contributor to the event carbon footprint is travel, which accounts for 90% of the carbon emissions from average event. And this average emission is estimated to 176 or 177 kilograms of carbon footprint. This is my first takeaway, and we need to think about it. This is not something we can really cover with the greenwashing, but this is something where we need to start to react actually and create better events. And the second part is this comment from one of my colleagues: if we continue to promote hybrid and online events, we will be responsible for killing the entire industry and suppliers, from venues to the most simple suppliers. This is a kind of Ludism. Probably you remember Ludism from the historical classes, when the what machine came to the market in actually the 19th century. First, there was a Ludism movement. They tried to actually destroyed all the machines, at that time. So something similar is happening now. So basically, think about it. And as I said, we interdepend. We need to actually create a kind of competition, not competition. And we have a lot of things to discuss for the future, but I'm definitely optimistic about the future. And I see our industry stronger than ever before. Of course, it's more difficult to enter to our industry, but definitely I'm positive about the future. This is my takeaway. And if you want to learn more about what I just said, I also wrote a book this year, and where all the techniques, methodology is presented. And I'm really looking forward for your comments. And sorry once again for technical problems. Even professionals can have such problems sometimes. Thanks a lot for listening to me.